welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to be making an easy chocolate mousse recipe, and it's not real chocolate mousse, it's kind of my own version. Actual chocolate mousse has raw eggs in it, which I don't eat, so this is my version. So all you're going to need is some chocolate, any kind you want. I'm using Tony's chocolate because it's made without slave labor. And I'm also using some confectioner's sugar and heavy whipping cream. This is to make the whipped cream that's going to go on top. And the only other thing that we need to put in the actual mousse is some cinnamon and some either sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Which you don't have to put this in if you don't like the like chocolate sea salt flavor. If you don't like that, you can just do plain chocolate, but I like it this way. And I thought it would be cute if we put it in these little paper cups to serve it. Alright, so we need a bowl that is microwave safe because that's how I'm going to be melting the chocolate. You can also melt chocolate with a double boiler, which is a special set of 2 pans that you put on the stove top. And there's water in the bottom pan, and the top pan is where you melt the chocolate. I don't have one of those, and for me it's always worked just as easily to do it in the microwave. Alright, I'm going to put my chocolate in here, and because I bought the chocolate bars, I'm going to just be breaking it up. Just a few minutes ago off camera, I put my whipped cream and my bowl that I'm going to whip it in and the beaters that I'm going to use. I put all of those in the freezer. For the past hour or so, I've had them in the refrigerator, and now I'm just going to put them in the freezer for a short time to make sure they're extra cold, because whipped cream beats up better if it's cold, the cream itself and the stuff that you're going to use to make it. You just don't want to leave the cream itself in the freezer for very long because it does freeze pretty quickly. Oh, I just realized I forgot an ingredient. So the final ingredient is Greek yogurt. And that's what's going to make our chocolate have a mousse-like quality. Yes. I'm going to put this in the microwave normally if I was just doing a single serving size of this, I would do it for 1 minute on 50% power. Since I'm making this to share with a group, I'm going to try 2 minutes, 50% power. I would not do this ever on 100% power because you don't want to burn your chocolate. Chocolate can burn really easily, and once you burn it, there's no going back. It tastes horrible. You just have to start all over. So just be very careful. Some people like to do 30 seconds at a time on high, but I just prefer to do it a little longer on 50%. Okay, and you'll see as you mix it, it starts to melt. You basically want to just keep doing this. I'm going to do 1 minute now that it started to melt. 1 minute more on 50% power again. You want to just keep repeating that 1 minute at a time, 50% power. Just keep repeating that until the chocolate looks like it's most of the way melted, but not completely. Because as you continue to stir it, it will then melt the rest of the way. Alright, so I'm going to repeat my process in the microwave a couple more times and be back. Okay, these lumps of chocolate are so small. I'm not going to go for another minute. I'm going to go for 20 seconds at 50% power. Because I stirred them a whole lot, as you can see, but they're still persisting and not melting all the way. So we're just going to do a little bit more. Okay, so now those last few little lumps are gonna melt completely just as I'm stirring this. And stirring also helps get a little bit of air into this, which is great because it will make our mousse a little more fluffy and light. Alright, so we're going to add let's actually set this aside for a bit. I want it to get a little cooler before I add this yogurt. Since the yogurt's cold, the chocolate's hot, I don't want to cause a weird reaction, which can happen when you add really cold stuff to really hot stuff. So I'm just going to wait a little bit, and we're going to make our whipped cream in the meantime. Alright, I'm going to be trying a new whipped cream recipe. So if you've been watching these videos for a little bit, you might have seen I did a how to make whipped cream once before. But this is a little bit of a different method that I'm going to try. So what's different about this recipe is they call for beating your heavy whipping cream by itself first until it gets to almost to the soft peaks phase, which if you don't know what that is, I'll be showing you in a minute here. And then you add your sugar and some vanilla extract. So I've only made it when you combine everything together from the beginning, all at once. Also, what's different is they're calling for confectioner's sugar instead of your regular granulated normal sugar. So confectioner's sugar is where it's ground extra fine. Sometimes they also call it 10x sugar or powdered sugar because it's ground so fine. And also I'm using almond extract instead of the vanilla just because I like this better. Alright, so we use 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of extract per cup. And this is 1 pint. There's 2 cups in a pint, so we're going to double the sugar and extract when we get to that part. I like to put this underneath the bowl just to keep it from sliding all around. It's just a little silicone mat. Alright, we're going to test and see if we're at the soft peaks phase yet. So you just... Alright, so see how there's little mountain peaks now? And they pretty much stand up on their own, just not very high. So I think it's about time to add our other ingredients. Alright, so I have my heaping tablespoonful here, and I'm going to level it off with the back of my knife into the bag so that we don't make a big mess. Just and try to show you at the same time. I don't know if that was very visible. Okay. And just level it off by running the back of the knife. There, now it's nice and level. That's 2 tablespoons. And I'm sorry if this is really repetitive, but I always like to do this in case there's new people that are totally new to cooking. Just so you know, a tablespoon is different from a teaspoon, so you're going to want to pay attention to that. If you see a recipe that just says lowercase Tsp, they're talking about a teaspoon. And if you see capital Tbsp, that's short for a tablespoon. Alright, and now we're going to continue. Ooh, see how nice and fluffy it's getting? Look at that. I like mine to be a little extra thick, so I'm going to go just like a couple seconds more. Okay, and I'm going to stop because I don't want it to get to the butter stage. Just want whipped cream. Alright, I put my beaters to soak in a little bowl of water so they'll be easier to clean later. Just don't leave them in there for a long time or you'll end up with rusty beaters. Okay, Chalkies are now ready to add our Greek yogurt. Oops. And some cinnamon and some sea salt. So I can't really give you a measurement on this because I always just do it by taste, meaning I add some and then taste it to see if I like it. So I'm just gonna do a good bit of cinnamon here, like that. And this we don't want to overdo, obviously, or it'll be too salty. So let's just do a little bit like this, and then just see how that goes. And now we're going to add in, I'm just going to do a few spoonfuls of the Greek yogurt. And then I like to mix it first just to see how it looks. I want it to stay pretty dark colored because I want it to be more chocolatey than yogurty. That's my goal. So I'm watching to see if it starts to get too light colored, and if it does, I know that I shouldn't add any more yogurt. Just blend it in really well. Also doing it a little bit at a time like this. If your chocolate's still a bit warm, which you do want to do this while it's still a bit warm. You don't want to wait till it's stone cold because then it will just get so hard that you can't even mix it at all. So doing this, mixing the yogurt a little bit at a time, also helps lower your temperature a little bit so you don't, like I said earlier, get a strange reaction by adding a lot of cold stuff suddenly to hot stuff. Alright, so this is still quite dark, and I'm going to make this a little bit more fluffy by adding more yogurt. I'm going to do 3.5 maybe, more spoonfuls. So we cooled it down part of the way by stirring in that first 3 spoonfuls of yogurt. And now it's prepared to accept more yogurt. You can see how fluffy it's getting, and it is turning a lighter brown. I don't think I want it to get any lighter than this because then it might take away from the chocolate flavor. So this is going to be it for me. I'm going to be done after adding this. You can taste it and see if you want to add more yogurt, more cinnamon, more sea salt. It's up to your taste. And the reason why I'm stirring so much is because partly it makes it more fluffy, like you can see, by adding air into the mix. Partly I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting all the chocolate from the bottom of the dish mixed in so we don't have hard chocolate stuck to the bottom that was never mixed with the yogurt. Okay, just gonna taste this a little bit. I think that's really good. It's just a little bit like sweet with a little bit of saltiness, but it's not too much. And you can really taste the cinnamon too. Okay, I think I'm just gonna add like one more little grind of the sea salt. And you can see this is really thickening up now. So this is definitely, it's more thick than your typical chocolate mousse recipe. The real chocolate mousse is going to be more light and fluffy than this and more airy. So it is a little different, but definitely good in its own way. and I think it would look cool if you did just like, I don't know if I can do this on here though, because this, see how big those holes are? It makes it hard to sprinkle. Just a little bit to show you that that's pretty. You can do the same with cocoa powder. Alright, I hope you had a lovely time in the kitchen today. Have a great week and see you next time. Bye!